Good evening, everyone. Xiao Fang is a girl from Tianjin. She was born in 1997. But the story she's telling, she said it's not about her. It's something her aunt told her. So this story takes place in the 90 seconds. Xiao Fang has an aunt. In 1998, her aunt was assigned to a big hotel in Tianjin at that time. According to Xiao Fang, she wasn't born yet. When her aunt was assigned the job, her grandparents and her mom and her uncles were all very happy because the hotel she was assigned to was so hard to get into. It's said that this hotel in Tianjin might not be number 1, but it's definitely number 2, and the hotel's name is so grand. Due to the show, I can't say the name, but if you're from Tianjin, you'll know the name. It's a legendary hotel. But because the hotel is still doing pretty well, and also, I really can't say the name, I say that 99% of people from Tianjin know it. So well block out the hotel's name, I can only tell you, it's in Hexi District, around Bingguan Road. You can figure out the rest yourself. Now, let's talk about the story. The story takes place when her aunt happily started working at the hotel. In her 3rd month there, her aunt suddenly came home one day. When she came home for dinner, she looked really down. Her parents didn't say anything to her because her aunt was still a girl then. After eating for a bit, her mom probably asked her, which is Xiao Fang's grandma, "What's wrong, honey? Are you unhappy at work?" But to her surprise, after a few questions, her aunt burst into tears. And she cried so sadly. Then her parents immediately pressed her, and her older siblings also chimed in. After a while, her aunt said while crying, I can't work this job anymore. I don't want to work here." Everyone misunderstood at first. They thought her aunt was being bullied at the hotel, but to their surprise, after a while of asking, it turned out that her aunt had seen a ghost at the hotel. And she didn't just see the ghost today. According to her aunt, she saw it 3 days ago. 3 days ago, her aunt happened to be working the night shift. But that night, she was so scared, she didn't dare to say anything. But today, she couldn't hold it in anymore. When the whole family heard this, they were stunned. First, they calmed her aunt down. Then, they started asking her for details. To their surprise, the story her aunt told almost scared them to death. The story her aunt told happened 3 days ago. 3 nights ago, her aunt was working the night shift, responsible for front desk reception. But back then, these high-end hotels were not like today, where anyone can just walk in. In those days, the people who stayed here were not foreign tourists, but leaders from different places, or some big bosses. In these high-end hotels, there were very few people coming in and out, and after 10 p.m., the hotel would be empty. So when my aunt worked the night shift, it was just for show. She'd rest at the front desk. But this day was different. Around 1 a.m., my aunt heard a chattering sound coming from outside the door. It sounded like 6 or 7 people coming towards the hotel entrance. So my aunt immediately snapped out of it and got up. She quickly fixed her clothes and stood there properly for show. But then a long line of people walked in. They were all wearing ancient clothes. My aunt's first reaction was, "What is this? What country's delegation is this?" That was her first reaction. Because in this kind of hotel, it's not uncommon to see foreigners in strange outfits. So my aunt didn't react right away. But as these people walked in further, my aunt saw clearly, no, the clothes they were wearing were not some foreign clothes or exotic costumes, but Chinese clothes similar to the Qing dynasty. And 2 of them in the lead were wearing official uniforms. My aunt was terrified. "Oh my God. What is this?" She immediately lowered her head and hid behind the front desk. She didn't dare to move. My aunt said she didn't look up again. But these people were chattering, not knowing what they were saying, and they walked up to the second floor of the hotel. Hangzhou Bank. The whole thing took over a minute. When they left, and the sound stopped, my aunt finally dared to get up. She immediately ran to the break room. There was a coworker in the break room. After she got in, my aunt told her coworker what happened, but the coworker was a guy. He was a careless person. After hearing my aunt's story, he didn't take it to heart at all. He was making a joke out of it. But my aunt got mad. She told him to go work the front desk. "I am not going back no matter what." The male coworker had no choice. Well, he's a man, so he should let the woman. So he listened to my aunt. He went to take her place at the front desk. Then, after he took over, nothing happened. My aunt stayed in that room for over 2 hours. She only dared to leave when it was light. Then she told the story to 2 or 3 other coworkers. Then, in the morning, before she even got home, the story had already reached their shift manager. That day, the manager chatted with Auntie at a little past 8 o'clock. He told her, "You absolutely can't talk about this at the hotel. You just started, and you're not a regular employee yet. If you spread this stuff, the hotel definitely won't keep you." So, from then on, Auntie never mentioned it to anyone again. But when she went home that day, Auntie felt extremely tired, so she got home and didn't tell her parents. When she woke up again, she wanted to tell them, but she thought the job was hard to come by. Her family was also very happy that she could work at such a fancy hotel, so she figured, forget it. But the next day, when she went back to work, the thought of it kept swirling in her head, and she was about to be put on the night shift again. So Auntie still felt very uneasy inside. Then about a day and a half after the incident, Auntie was just strolling alone outside the hotel, just taking a break, and while she was walking, she ended up talking to an old lady who was sweeping. As they were talking, she wasn't sure how it came up. Auntie didn't actively bring up the weird stuff, the scary thing that happened to her, but the old lady brought it up herself. "Hey, let me tell you, you guys shouldn't go into that woods in the back. That small patch of woods is not good. There are always crows there. And owls." Auntie knew there was a patch of woods on the side of their hotel. It was the hotel's garden. But it's true, it's very beautiful once you're inside. But if you look at it from the outside, that small patch of woods looks really creepy. And the old lady wasn't lying. Crows were always circling over it, and some people had even seen night owls. So, people from Tianjin call owls night owls, huh? When Auntie heard that, she felt, a chill down her spine. She asked the old lady, "So, what's going on in those woods in the back, Auntie?" "Auntie." Then the old lady's expression suddenly changed. It became kind of eerie. She leaned in and whispered to Auntie, "Oh goodness, you don't know? That small woods in the back is haunted. Our hotel, you see, it may seem fancy, but ever since it was built, things have always been happening. Like this fountain in front of the hotel and the stuff on the side, they were all added later. They weren't here before. The hotel owner had a feng shui master check this place out, but things still keep happening. All us employees know about it. You're new here, so just don't go wandering around." After the old lady said that, it suddenly resonated with Auntie. Auntie suddenly felt a jolt. She suddenly remembered what had happened to her a few nights ago. Then, unable to control herself, she told the old lady about what happened that night. But I thought the aunt would listen and think maybe she wouldn't believe it, or that it was all nonsense. But to my surprise, the aunt said to my cousin, "You've encountered it." Oh dear. They shouldn't let you young girls work the night shift. The manager is terrible. Working in this hotel, you need a strong bazi to work the night shift. Not everyone can work the night shift. This manager, he really doesn't care. What if you were scared, sick? If you got scared sick, what would you do? My cousin was stunned when she heard that. She immediately asked the aunt, "Auntie, are you saying I wasn't mistaken that day? Our hotel really has a ghost?" The aunt just nodded when she heard it. Then, with a very mysterious expression, she told my cousin, "By the way, you can't spread this around. This is a 5-star hotel. If you spread rumors, you won't be able to work here anymore. You need to be careful, but you can't just put up with it. You need to speak up. You have to go to your boss. Say, 'I won't work the night shift anymore. I have a fever.' Just tell him that, and hell get it." When the aunt finished speaking, my cousin thought, "Right, maybe I should go talk to my boss. Wanted. You should know that. Why are you still scheduling me for the night shift? I am a girl." But the boss got angry and slammed the table. He threatened my cousin, saying, "If you keep talking nonsense, I won't just fire you. You'll be held responsible for this." So this whole thing just really upset my cousin. And she thought about it all day. The more she thought, the more she couldn't let it go. This wasn't something she could just put up with long term. So in the end, she had no other choice. Just now during dinner, she blew up at her family. Her family was shocked when they heard it. They all asked my cousin, "Is this true?" But that question was actually pointless. If it was fake, would my cousin be here bawling her eyes out? But at that time, my grandfather was young, and he had a temper. When he saw his daughter was wronged, he got mad and slammed the table. He told my cousin, "Don't worry about it. Our family isn't going to let this go. We're going to your hotel." And you know what? Grandpa really has some tricks up his sleeve. Even though he couldn't find any solid connections to pull some strings and make things smoother for my aunt's job, he went to the hotel instead. And he went straight to my aunt's manager at the front desk. He told the manager, "Good evening, everyone. Mr. Manager, our girl really likes working here, and she's happy to get along with her leaders and colleagues. But our hotel, you have to understand the situation. I think you know it better than I do. Also, I've been asking around, and I am wondering if there's something wrong with this hotel. If there is something wrong with it, as leaders, could you make an exception for us? Don't put this girl on the night shift. If a boy gets scared, we can fix that easily, but if this little girl gets scared, we'd have to blame you, wouldn't we? Or are you saying you don't want us anymore? Well, definitely spread the word outside. I am a factory worker, and there are thousands of people at my factory. If I spread this story, I am not saying you'll have to shut down, but your hotel's reputation will take a hit. Your hotel will be worthless. Don't you think what I am saying makes sense?" Grandpa is a good talker. This conversation really intimidated the manager. But after he got home, he didn't brag to the family. He just told my aunt, "Dad has solved this for you. They said you won't have to work the night shift anymore. But my girl, after my talk with him, I could tell from his expression that I hit the nail on the head. There is something wrong with this hotel. So, if you can keep working there, go ahead. If not, don't worry about it. Dad will find you another job. If we can't find one this good, we can still find something, right? In any case, we can't force you to work here. If something bad happens, it's not something that can be easily fixed. So we can't put our lives in danger for a job." Good evening, everyone. This story is from one of our users named Gugu Gugu. It's probably a boy, And the story he provided is about something that happened around 2000 to one of his colleagues who was a soldier back in 2000 in Inner Mongolia. He said, "I have a colleague in his 42nds. I usually call him Big Brother. He speaks with a northeastern accent. At first, I thought he was from the Northeast, but later I found out he picked up the accent while he was a soldier in Inner Mongolia." Some people might ask, why does Inner Mongolia have a northeastern accent? Because in China, Inner Mongolia has many areas that border the northeast. The accents are the same, so he was influenced by the local accent there. But he said this brother of mine is a great conversationalist. He likes to talk a lot. And he can also hold his liquor. So when I joined the company, I got along well with this guy. Then later, after we'd known each other for over a year, one night, we were sitting together, drinking and chatting. Our conversation turned to ghost stories. And that night, he was a little drunk. Then he told us an extremely fantastical, unbelievable story. But at the time, he was very serious. He told us it was true, that he really experienced it. But we thought he was just talking nonsense from being drunk. But we never expected that when we asked him again the next day, he got mad. He meant, "You guys don't believe me? I wasn't that drunk yesterday. I was telling the truth." And he even called a comrade from his past to prove that he wasn't lying. If that was the case, we really had to think about this story. We thought it had some value. So this incident of his happened in 2000. At that time, he was in Inner Mongolia, in a very small city, serving in a stationed army unit. When he was serving, he was a company commander, and he was doing pretty well in the company. He was in charge of a bunch of young soldiers, and they all respected him. So one day, this one guy around noon asked him for leave. A young soldier around noon asked him for leave. He said, "Can I go out this afternoon?" But no matter how he asked what the soldier was going to do, the soldier wouldn't say. But judging from his expression, it seemed like he had met a local girl online. It seemed he was going to meet an online friend, but because training wasn't very strict during those days, it wasn't that strict. There was nothing going on. Plus, this guy usually got along well with him, so he agreed. But his agreement came with conditions. He told the guy, "First, be careful when you go. Then, I'll give you 100 yuan. I'll write you a list for you to take to the town. Go buy 100 yuan worth of snacks and bring them back. My drawer is out of snacks." When the soldier heard this, he said, "No problem. It's nothing, and I don't want your 100 yuan. I'll just buy them for you. What do you want to eat?" But our company commander was a principled man. He insisted on giving him 100 yuan, and he also wrote him a list for him to buy pickled chicken feet, instant noodles, ham sausages, and things like that. Just the packaged snacks we usually have on hand to nibble on or have with a drink. Just those kinds of packaged snacks. So that day, at around 12 o'clock, the guy left the barracks and headed to town, and then it was the afternoon. There was nothing going on at the barracks. They gathered once. Everyone just went through the motions, and at 3-something, it was over. And then after it was over, it was time for dinner. A little before 6 p.m., everyone went to the cafeteria. Before eating in the cafeteria, they did a roll call. At this time, our company commander found out that this guy hadn't come back yet, but he didn't say anything. And everyone just ate. After dinner, at 7:30, he thought the guy should be back because he was thinking about his good food. So he went to the guy's dorm to take a look, and he found the guy wasn't there. So he asked, Where's that guy? Then everyone said he hadn't come back. Didn't he go to some town? You gave him leave. The company commander felt a little strange then. It was almost 9 p.m. It was 8:40, and he still wasn't back. The camp doesn't allow people back after 9 p.m. What's going on? But there was nothing he could do. In that era, there were no cell phones or anything. Or maybe some had them. But soldiers didn't have much money. He didn't have a phone. So he couldn't contact him. So the company commander didn't say anything then either. But he was anxious inside. He just went back to his own dorm. But after he went back, he just sat there and felt uneasy. He felt something was going to happen. He started to regret it himself. Oh no. When this guy left, I didn't ask what time he'd be back or what he was going to do. What's going on? But just as he was getting anxious, it was getting close to 9:30. Then the guy knocked on the door. The knock was very light. The company commander got excited. Who is it? Commander, I am back. The company commander was relieved when he heard his voice. He immediately swore inside the room. You? What the hell? What time is it? How did you get in? Did you climb over? So he was muttering to himself. Well, he opened the door for the guy, but as soon as the door opened, the commander saw the guy was dusty and dirty, especially his face. His face was ashen, and his eyes were bloodshot. The company commander looked at him and said, What did you go and do? Did you get in a fight? What's wrong with your body? The guy stood there without speaking. He looked himself up and down and told the commander, I just climbed the wall and fell a bit. I am fine. I am fine. But after he said that, the commander still felt something was off. You fell a bit? Why are your eyes so bloodshot? Didn't you sleep well? You weren't like this when you left. Did you cry? What's going on? So he asked him again, but the guy didn't say anything. He just gave a playful smile. Then he squeezed into the commander's room, and when he went in, he placed a red plastic bag on the commander's desk. This plastic bag was full of delicious food. At that time, because the bag of food was more than what the commander had estimated, that is, he gave him 100 yuan. It was a lot more than 100 yuan's worth. The commander's attention was immediately drawn to the food. So he asked him, How much did you buy? Then the guy said, Not much. Just 100 yuan. You can eat it. I went to the wholesale station. The commander realized something was wrong. He immediately said to him, Your family isn't well off, and you don't have an income yet. Your income is so little. I have money. You don't have to do this for me. Understand? How much did you buy? I'll give it to you. Don't spend your own money. If you do this, I won't dare to ask you to get things for me anymore. Was the commander's words reasonable? Yes, they were. Was it reasonable for the soldier to buy more for him? Yes. Buttering up the commander was also reasonable, so the two of them started to act polite. But in the end, the commander didn't win against the soldier, although the commander took out 200 yuan and put it on the table for him. The soldier wouldn't take it no matter what. As a result, the soldier was very smart. He changed the subject, and he suddenly asked the commander, Hey, commander, do you have any liquor? Let's have a drink. Oh, don't give me money. Just pretend I am also eating with you. You provide the liquor, and I'll provide the snacks. The commander heard this, and said, Sure, I have liquor. He immediately took out a bottle of liquor from under his bed. Then the two of them unscrewed the bottle and started drinking. When they were drinking, the commander initially just wanted to have a few drinks, but he didn't expect the guy to drink so much. He was a heavy drinker. It was completely different from his usual self, and the guy wasn't eating much. The commander asked him, "What's wrong with you? Why are you drinking so much today? Don't get drunk, or tomorrow you won't be able to do anything." But the guy told the commander that he was usually shy, and now that he was alone with the commander, this was his true alcohol tolerance. So he told the commander not to worry. As a result, the commander saw this, and he himself also loved liquor, so the two of them started drinking heavily. Then this heavy drinking session lasted until 11:30 at night. How do we know it was 11:30? This was the last time the commander looked at his watch before he got drunk. What happened after that? I think we all have friends who black out when they drink. I am not making this up. He really blacked out and didn't know what he did yesterday. He probably doesn't remember anything that happened right before he got drunk. So the company commander could only remember up to around 11:30. He checked the time. But by then, the company commander was dead drunk, but he still vaguely remembered that kid. He wasn't drunk. His mind was sharp, and he didn't show any emotion. He was still sitting in front of the commander, chattering away. But as for what happened next, our company commander had no idea. He just remembered that he fell asleep, leaning on a bed he didn't know where. He just fell asleep. And when the commander woke up again, it was around 2 a.m. But he didn't wake up naturally. At 2 a.m., he was woken up by a phone call. After he woke up, his head hurt badly. Oh man. And he saw the lights in the room were still on, but the phone was ringing nonstop, so he went to answer the call. Hey. Hello? Who is it? Then the phone told the commander. Hey, Xiao Shui, can you hear me? You need to sober up quickly. You need to wake up right now. Something big has happened. One of your soldiers, the front desk just received a call saying he was hit by a car and died. The person is at the town hospital now. When the commander heard that, his mind went blank. What? What are you talking about? Who was hit by a car and died? But the other person couldn't say the name, and he just told the commander to get ready quickly and head to a certain hospital in town. After the commander hung up, he sat there, trembling. What's going on? Who went out in the middle of the night and got hit by a car? What's happening? But there was no time to think. He had to get a car and go to the town hospital, but he knew he was dead drunk. So with a quick thought, he immediately ran to dorm 4 to wake up the soldiers. He called the one who could drive. The soldier he was familiar with, and there was one important thing. The guy who drank with the commander just now also lived in dorm 4. The commander was staggering as he walked, and he headed straight for dorm 4. When he got there, he didn't care about anything else. He just kept opening the door. The people inside were groggy. What's wrong? What happened? Commander? The commander said. Is Zhao Lindsay here? Tell him to get up now. Zhao Lindsay. At this time, a young soldier named Zhao Lindsay, who was sleeping on the top bunk, said, What's wrong, Commander? Get dressed and come with me. Something's happened. Zhao Lindsay was very obedient. He fell off the top bunk, but at that moment, the commander looked to his left. The bed on the left was empty. The company commander knows whose empty bed this island, so he immediately asked, Where's Jesse? Where's Jesse? Everyone immediately looked at the commander and told him, Commander, didn't Jesse ask you for leave and go out this afternoon? He never came back. You should know. 3,400. The commander was surprised. That's not right. I just drank with Jesse. He came back. And he bought me a big bag of snacks. We drank for a long time. Could it be that this kid ran out again after drinking? As soon as the commander thought of this, his head started buzzing. Oh no. Could it be Zazie who had an accident at the hospital? He drank with me. Got drunk, and then walked onto the road and got hit by a car? The commander's heart was about to jump out of his chest. He instantly stood frozen, his face deathly pale. The young soldiers next to him immediately asked what was wrong. Commander, what's wrong with Jesse? Why are you going to the town? Do you need us to come with you? But at this moment, the commander was speechless. But these were all just the commander's thoughts. They weren't necessarily true. Because if you don't go to the hospital and find out for sure who was hit, you can't draw any conclusions. But from the looks of it, it's probably Jesse. But the commander couldn't let the morale drop. He held it in. He didn't say anything and then called for Xiao Lindsay. He drove the military car and rushed to the hospital with him. But when they got to the hospital, after searching through the hospital, they finally confirmed it. As expected, the person who died was indeed Jesse. At that moment, the commander and Xiao Lindsay both went blank, especially the commander who was already drunk. He could barely stand. Then Xiao Lindsay asked the commander, Commander, what happened to him? Huh. I am so confused. I don't know what happened, and now Jesse is gone. But the commander blamed himself. Jesse's death was related to him. This happened after he drank with him, but he never expected that. After he calmed down a little, he had to talk to the doctor about the cause of Jesse's death and what time, what exactly happened. But the doctor told the commander, the patient was brought in at 7 p.m. We tried to save him, but he died at 7:30. We knew he was from the army, but we didn't know which unit. It took a long time to contact you. Upon hearing this news, the commander was stunned. He started thinking to himself, who did I just drink with? Was I dreaming? But at this moment, he couldn't think about that. He had to handle Jesse's funeral first. There were a lot of things to do. As a result of being busy, the company commander didn't return to the barracks for 3 days. After 3 days, when the commander returned to the barracks, the first thing he did was go back to his room to check. He wanted to see if the snacks Jesse bought him were still in the room. If they were still there, it wasn't a dream. But when the commander opened the door, he found there were no snacks in the room. But the food he ate that day was so clear in his memory. At this moment, the commander started to comfort himself. It seemed like a nightmare. Oh, Jesse. But just as he was thinking about this, the commander found something was wrong. There were 2 wine glasses on the table. One was placed on his side of the bed. The other was placed on the opposite side. Then the commander immediately went to look at the wine glass on the opposite side. The wine glass was filled with wine. No one had drunk from it. But just from this wine, glass, it could be proven that what he experienced that night was not a dream. It seemed Jesse had come back. All right, everyone. The story is over. Friends, tomorrow's program will be even more exciting. We'll see you tomorrow night.